So in the previous class, that is in the previous video, we came to know, or we have discussed about Mendel's experiments, that is monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. By taking the example from plants as well as animals, the monohybrid cross result phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. Like that, the dihybrid cross phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1 and genotypic ratio is 1:2:2:4:1:2:1:2:1. So I think you have gone through the video clips and understand the mechanism involved in monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. On the basis of those two experiments conducted by Mendel, he put forward 3 statements, and those 3 statements were considered as laws of Mendel, or Mendel's laws, or Mendelism, or principles of heredity. Let us see those laws. In that, first one is law of dominance and recessiveness. Law of dominance and recessiveness. Second one, law of purity of gametes, or law of segregation of factors. Third one, law of independent assortment. So these are the 3 laws resulted as the by the results of experiments conducted by Mendel. Let us see one by one. Law of dominance and recessiveness. What it states? It states that when the homozygous individuals, we're going to use the term homozygous, when the homozygous individuals with one or more sets of contrasting characters, homozygous individuals with one or more sets of contrasting characters are crossed, the character or the trait or the factor which is appeared in F1 generation, which is expressed in F1 generation, is called dominant, and the character or the trait or the factor which is not appeared in F1, or which is suppressed, or which is hidden, that character or that trait or that factor is called recessive. This is the first rule of Mendel, first law of Mendel. I will repeat the statement. When a pair of, it states that when two homozygous individuals with one or more sets of contrasting characters were crossed, the character which is appeared in F1 is dominant and the character which is not appeared in F1 is recessive. Actually, this is not considered as a law. It is a condition. So whenever they will ask in your examination, briefly explain the laws of Mendel, you write these two laws only. First one is law of purity of gametes. Second one is law of independent assortment. But in some textbooks, they have considered these three as the rules or the principles or the laws. Okay, come to the second one. Law of purity of gametes or law of segregation of factors. Actually, this law is based on monohybrid cross experiment. When, or it states that when a pair of contrasting characters are crossed or brought together in a hybrid, during gamete formation from that hybrid, each factor separate from each other and enters into a gamete, so that the gamete is pure for that character. Hence, it is law of purity of gametes. What it states, when a pair of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid, during gamete formation from that hybrid, each factor separates or segregates and enters into a particular gamete. That is like this. In case of monohybrid cross, we have crossed homozygous tall pea plants with homozygous short pea plants. Both are homozygous, produces only one type of gamete, resulting in the hybrid with the genotype capital T, small t. What the statement is, when a pair of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid. This is a pair of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid, that is F1 hybrid. During gamete formation from that hybrid, from this hybrid, during gamete formation, this capital T if is for the character tallness, small t is for the character shortness, and these will separate. They will not mix with each other. They will not enter into a single gamete. They will enter into different gametes. So that this gamete is pure for tallness and this gamete is having the gene for shortness, and that is pure for short character. So the statement is stated like that. When a pair of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid, during gamete formation from that hybrid, each character or each trait segregates or separates, enters into a particular gamete, so that the gamete is pure for that character or for that trait. This is the first law, usually law of purity of gametes or law of segregation of factors. And the next one, law of independent assortment. This is completely based on dihybrid cross, the results of dihybrid cross. What it states, when two or more than two pairs of contrasting characters, when two or more than two pairs of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid, during gamete formation from that hybrid, each factor assert out independently and independent of the other factor. I will say with an example. In case of dihybrid cross, round with yellow, we crossed. What we got in monohybrid, sorry, in F1 hybrids, all are round and yellow. What is the statement? When two or more than two pairs of contrasting characters, two or more than two pairs of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid, during gamete formation from this hybrid, this is F1 hybrid, heterozygous, round and yellow. During gamete formation from that hybrid, each factor, each trait, each character assert out independently and independent of the other factor. In the sense, round does not depend on wrinkle trait. Yellow does not depend on green. So that we'll get 4 types of gametes. What are those 4 types of gametes with the genes? Round yellow, one type. Round green, another type. Wrinkled yellow, third type. Then wrinkled green, fourth type. So here we'll get 2 parental gametes and 2 new one. So new one are formed as a result of their non-dependence. In the sense, what the statement is there, when 2 or more than 2 pairs of contrasting characters are brought together in a hybrid, during gamete formation from that hybrid, each factor assert out independently and independent of the other factor. In the sense, round is not depending on yellow, wrinkled is not depends on green. So that will get 4 types of gametes. Each factor, round separates, wrinkled separates, green separates, yellow separates, and produces 2 new gametes. I think you understand the statements postulated by Mendel as a result of monohybrid and dihybrid crosses. Okay, in the next part, after the study of Mendel and his experiments, laws of Mendel, we have used many terms in genetics. That is, in first part topic only we are going to use many terms. So in the next class or in the next video, we're going to see the different terms and terminology. Before that, another concept in Mendel, that is incomplete dominance or blended inheritance. That is in the next part of the class. Okay, thank you.